Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. This is a short clip from an interview I did with Thai Rivera, who is an LGBTQ comedian and a YouTuber. He's amazing and awesome, but I wanted to put a short little 10-minute clip here for you to just get a taste of what the full interview will be on my actual podcast channel. And the link will be in the description at the end and also in the description here. And with that, I bring you the amazing Thai Rivera.
And I didn't know being gay was an option when I was young. The other day I had somebody come down on me because I used the term trans kids. And I don't know what context I used it in, but I never try to push that. I'm not one of the people that's at all trying to push young people to transition because I was a kid that thought I was trans even though I didn't know the word trans. Because when I was super young, my older sister had told me, if you don't like girls, then you must be a girl. And if you're a girl and you don't like boys, then you must be a boy. And I knew not to tell her that I liked boys or I had a feeling I liked boys, and I'm like 5 years old at the time, 4 years old. Yeah. I remember super, super young. It just really impressed on me because from that point on, in my head, I thought I was a girl. And so all of my thoughts were me as a girl. That's the way I thought of myself, like when you think of yourself in a scenario. And I would think to myself, because at some point, I got introduced to the word sex change just through probably one of my mom's tabloids or something, something like that. Because my mom always had all the tabloids, so in our bathroom, there was Enquirer, there was Globe, there was all of them, literally. Awesome. Yeah, and so somehow I got introduced to the word sex change, and in my head, I started thinking as a kid, I'm going to get a sex change one day. I'm going to need a sex change.
Totally.
And I really did think this. And then we got to about me being, I think, 15 was when we left my town and we moved to Phoenix. Okay. And then I found out at about the gay bars, and that's where I really saw that gay could be an option. And then once I realized that was an actual option, that idea of being trans almost magically left my head.
Wow.
And it literally was like that. Once I realized gay was an actual option and I saw gay men living as gay men, immediately I was like, oh, that's all I have to do? Okay, let's do that.
I'm so excited you're saying that right now. I've interviewed other gay men who've almost said the same thing that you said, and they thought they were girls. They didn't say they were trans. They thought they were girls because they were very, very feminine or wanting to wear a dress or whatever going on, which is completely normal. Doesn't even necessarily mean you're gay. It's normal for kids to play around with gender roles. But what I wanted to say was, I really believe that a lot of these kids that they're calling trans kids are not given the opportunity to just maybe grow into being gay. And I think a lot of them are gay, but they're being sort of steered into this identity of trans for some reason. And I believe that many of them, if they were just given the opportunity to maybe be around other gays, then they would. Because do you notice this? I want to ask you this. Do you notice that no kids are saying they're gay anymore? They're all saying they're trans. Not one kid says I'm gay.
Oh yeah, no, that's a whole thing that I am really against, and people don't understand how against that I am. But then people make the mistake of thinking that because I'm against that, I mean that I'm against trans people. No, trans is just a separate thing, is the way I feel about it. Trans is its own thing. Not everybody that's gay is trans or needs to be trans. And people also like to take out of the equation cultural, like how much your culture affects the way that you think about these things. Because now it's changing quite a bit, just like everything else. But if you were raised Latino or Black, in a lot of cases, there is no gay option as far as those cultures go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's very those cultures are very. I lived in Mexico for 10 years, by the way, and so I completely know that. It's very much like you don't talk about it, and it's very sort of underground. So on some level, I do believe there's a war on gay kids. I do. I really believe that they're pushing kids to take this trans, and sort of everyone's so accepted when they're trans kids. It never was that way when you were a gay kid, right? So I want to get back to your story here. So here you are at 15, coming out as gay. 15 is young to come out as gay and to be. Now, were you open with your family, or what happened through that space?
No, I ended up like really deciding to, because that was just kind of like dipping your toe in the gay waters when I was 15. Then when I then when I was 16, I got a fake ID, and the fake ID only said I was 18. My first fake ID, because I've had two of them. My first one just said I was 18. That was to buy cigarettes because I was trash. I'm from Arizona.
Right on, dude, right on.
Yeah, I'm from Arizona, so smoking was very important since the time I was like 12, and that's no exaggeration.
Right
Yeah, and
on.
so I needed to be able to buy cigarettes. I'm an independent woman. I need to be able to get my cigarettes.
Love it.
So I got my fake ID that said I was 18. And the way that I found out about the gay bars, some people will judge me for this, but it's just what it was I was hanging out with gangbangers back then. And when I was hanging out with the gangbangers, they had, I would be because I had a car. And so I would be like their kind of getaway driver, because what they wanted to do was go to the gay bars because gay men wouldn't fight back. And so they would steal the cars of the gay men, and then we'd drive them out to the river bottom. I would follow them. They'd pick everything off the car that was worth stealing, like the stereo, the rims, whatever it was that was of value. They'd take all of that stuff off of them, and then they'd put it in my car, and then we would take off from there. So that's the way I found out even where the gay bars were or what gay bars were. There was a club at that time from robbing them.
Totally. Wow. Just wow. What a great story. Oh my God.
Yeah, and so one night I decided to go back, and I wasn't paying attention to the time or anything. I had been drinking with my friends, and I shouldn't admit that, but I think we all drank and drove when we were kids or whatever.
Totally. I did.
Yeah, and so I'm going to tell that part of the story just the way it went.
Yes.
I was drunk with my friends, and I decided to drive all the way across town where that gay bar was. And like I said, I didn't know what time it was. It must have been after 2 a.m. But all I knew was I was going to try to slip this ID to them, even though it said I was 18, and hope that they just let me in. Mm-hmm. And so I got in, and I thought I got over on them. Turns out it was after 2 a.m., so it was after hours, which
wow.
After hours is 18 and above.
Right.
And when I walked in that gay bar, I tell you, I honestly felt like I had walked into the gates of hell.
Wow.
Because I had never seen that kind of gay, it was I remember there was this guy, now I know his name's Lance, but he was absolutely beautiful. Like the stereotypical blonde, kind of crew cut, super muscular, just beautiful, but flamey as hell, just flamey gay man. But so beautiful, so stereotypically beautiful. And I remember him having his legs wrapped around another guy, an older guy, and the older guy was spinning with him, and they were kissing. And like I said, I didn't know him. That was my first time in there. I ended up finding out later his name was Lance, and, finding out a lot about him. But that was one of the first visuals I remember having. And Supermodel was playing, that's when Supermodel.
Totally. Wow.
Yeah, and so that's what was going on. And so, so I was just so taken aback by everything, and really from my small town mentality, just couldn't believe that this was what was going on. And then I met a guy that I thought wanted to hook up with me, and instead he was super cool, which was kind of disappointing because I was hoping he wanted to hook up with me.
But wait, when you say, was it exciting in a good way for you? Was it like, oh my God, this is what I've always wanted? Or was it more I'm not sure I'm okay with this? Or was it, I'm
not sure I'm okay with this. It really was I think I've gone too far this time. It really was the
Well, it can be shocking, especially at that young age, and not really understanding what you're getting. Also, because you weren't really around the culture of gay. And I think a lot of people who have the first gay experience, it can be either shocking or it can be very I don't ever want to do this again. Or, because there's so many things going through your head at this time. And it's a very sexual environment. The gay men's bars are very sexual. The women's bars are not so sexual. They're more, back in the day, they were very butch femme, right? With very role playing. But when you go into a gay man's bar, it's just like all you feel is sex. That's what I remember.
Oh yeah, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was, and I was not ready for that at all.
Thanks so much for watching, and you can watch the full interview on my podcast channel, and the link will be right here, or it could be right here, or maybe here, but I'm not sure, but you'll see it right here somewhere. And with that, thanks again for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you soon.